to your Mind Right Monday tip of the week. So this week we are talking about my 3 tips to help you become a lean, mean, habit-busting machine. Welcome back, guys. Did you miss me? I totally missed you. And this week we're talking about how you can become a lean, mean, habit-busting machine. And I'm going to share with you my 3 tips to do so. So first off, I think we need some foundational principles. So meaning that there's got to lay the foundation before we start constructing the house. And the best way to do that is to kind of really show you or tell you about the magnitude that habits really have on our behaviors. So a lot of you may already know this, but your habits, so those things that we do over and over again, such if you're a smoker, always smoking after you eat, if you're a nail biter, always biting your nails when you're nervous or anxious, those habits are actual patterns that are developed deep in the subconscious mind. And so what happens is through repetition, the brain actually literally develops a neural connection between a cue and the behavior. So when we are making these associations, like the cue being stress, the cue could be anxiety, the cue could be overwhelm, the cue could even be insecurity. When you have this cue, it triggers a behavior that you've installed at some point, but the question now becomes, does it serve you? So if you have a couple behaviors or patterns or habits that you have decided, this doesn't serve me anymore, then we've got the tips for you. So that leads me to the first tip of this week, which is to know your payoff. So when we're developing or forcing ourselves to change our behaviors, a lot of it is coming from this place that I need to. I have to quit smoking. I need to do this. I have to start saving. And so it's coming from this place of powerlessness. And so what we need to do is we need to know the payoff so we can shift and choose from coming from a place of I want to, or I can, or I get to. So there's a lot more power when we actually feel that we have a choice. And so the best way to do that is to evaluate what the payoff is by changing this habit. What are you going to benefit? What are you going to gain if you change this behavior? And then make it come from a place of that I want to do this. I'm choosing to do this because I have received this. So by associating it with the payoff, then we're going to get away from the pain of having to do this and really connect with the gain of what we want to do differently. So that's your first tip for busting through habits, is to know your payoff. Leads me to my second one. So the second tip of this week is consistency is key. Now, I know that one sounds like a no-brainer, Bonnie. Yeah, I get it. Consistency, repetition. But it really is the only way to really change the behaviors, to change the patterns. So you have to find a way to incorporate this change or this decision to change in your life regularly. Which means that you have to also find a way to remind yourself of the change you are seeking to adopt. So life is, your habits are autopilot. Life is going to go on autopilot because that's how the brain is functioning to cut down on all of our processing time, right? We do things by default, like when we're driving, we're not concentrating on how to drive the vehicle. We're able to do that task while thinking about other things. So a big part of that is because your subconscious is utilizing a program or a habit that it's running that in the background so you can use the consciousness to focus on something else. So when we're going against the grain and we're forcing ourselves to change a behavior, that means we have to remind ourselves of that, otherwise the default's gonna kick in and take over. So the best thing for you to do is to find reminders, sticky notes, maybe a rubber band to remind you that this is getting affirmations, something popping up on your phone, on your calendar. You can write it on your whiteboard, write it on your mirror. Find a way that you are looking at it multiple times in the day saying, I'm choosing to do this differently. So as you know, it takes a minimum of 18 days to form a new habit. So because it takes that long, you have to find a way to remind yourself for at least 18 days of the new habit. So again, my second tip is kind of one of the ones that you probably already know, but I'm reinforcing it here, guys, is consistency is key. All right, are you ready for my third tip? It's the final one of the day. So hopefully you're sitting there ready, taking a few notes, jotting some things down, and here leads me to my third and final tip of the day. That tip is back from the future. Back from the future, not back to the future. What I mean by that is that we are always projecting ourselves forward. We're not living in the now. We're not making change in the now. We're not doing our behaviors in the now. Wouldn't it be nice if I could lose weight? It'll be nice when I can finally break this habit of smoking. Or someday I'll do that. You ever heard that before? I bet you're probably guilty of saying it too. Well, that's because we need to come back from the future of the maybes, of the can-bes, and put ourselves in the now-bes. And really focus on the now, on what can you do today? What small steps can you start to adopt towards the change you want to have? So it sounds simple, but it really is difficult because we are constantly projecting our minds outwards. We're always thinking about what we need to do tomorrow or next week or next month, and we forget to really be right here, right now, making the best decisions with the information we have right here and right now. So it's really important for you, if you want to start becoming that lean, mean, habit-busting machine, you are going to have to start bringing yourself back from the future and into the now to make those changes that you're looking to have. So that leads me to our tweetable. Your tweetable for this week is action is the enemy of procrastination. So procrastinating, changing the behavior or the habits is what's going to keep you from actually making the change. So action is the best way to be able to kick that in the butt and start being in control of the habits that you really want to have versus being on the default of what you don't. So hopefully this week you guys learned something. Now it's your turn. We want to hear from you. Comment below and tell us your tips and tools and tricks on how you are a habit-busting machine. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and email us your questions at getinspired@bonniekelly.me. Until next week, I'm Bonnie Kelly.